Hello everybody, 64 Studios 101 here, and today I am doing a review of Spectacular Spider-Man Magazine #1. You know, that one obscure comic with the cover that should be iconic, but isn't because the comic is so obscure. Well, it's kind of an iconic picture of Spider-Man, this sort of picture with him crawling like that. So this is the Spectacular Spider-Man magazine, not the Spectacular Spider-Man, formerly Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, of which I have a few issues here. So this is the Spectacular Spider-Man magazine. Lasted 2 issues because it didn't work out apparently, so they discontinued it, which was a shame because this stuff is pretty good. Originally it was the outrageous price of 35 cents, and the regular comic is 12 cents, but this is a lot more pages, and issue 1 is in black and white, so people weren't very happy that it was in black and white, and they were still charging 35 cents. To be fair, at the time, 35 cents was more than it is now. So it's John Romita Sr. artwork. In other words, it's brilliant and iconic automatically. So let's open this up. Beautiful cover, look at that. There's a reason everyone likes Romita's work on Spider-Man, you know? Like, I think it's better than Ditko. And let's be honest, Ditko does have some pretty great stuff. Back to the comic. In a way, I like that this is in black and white because you're able to admire Romita's art even more, and there's some level of shading that you don't get in color. So for example, here's an ordinary issue of Spider-Man done by Romita. See it, you don't quite get here. You don't quite get the same level of shading and stuff in your ordinary issue. So it's a Stan Lee story, and as usual, Stan Lee does not disappoint. Now, what's interesting about this is, though Spectacular Spider-Man magazine, this issue 1 is obscure, there's a version of this comic which is a bit less obscure because, alright, it appeared in Amazing Spider-Man issues 116 through 119. I don't have the originals of those currently. It's the same basic story, right down to a lot of the same lines of dialogue, but honestly, I prefer this original art. And as for the story, the newer version in issues 116 to 119 is, I think, slightly better, though the original is still really good. I think the newer one is slightly better because in this we know that the evil politician is the villain immediately, but in the original we don't know that the evil politician is the villain until well into the story, and it's sort of a big shock, which is totally predictable, and I completely predicted it, but still, that's not the point. So, you know, it's quite a cool little thing. There's also a backup feature that retells the origin of Spider-Man with Larry Lieber art. I kind of wish it was Romita because I just kind of like to see Romita's take on the origin of Spider-Man. Without further ado, let's dive in a bit deeper into the plot. The story kind of just starts off revealing our evil politician. Spoilers, Richard Relay. Remind you of any of the presidential candidates this year? Yeah, me too. Anyway, so we're introduced to this big monstrous villain called the Smasher, who's just your sorta not particularly memorable Stan Lee villain. He's okay, I guess. So we get great John Romita art with just a fight scene between Spidey and this Smasher guy. Yeah, that's an uncreative name. So the Smasher is able to get away, and Spider-Man changes to Peter Parker in a series of great images. And then we see Harry Osborn and Mary Jane Watson, who for whatever reason are blindly loyal to Richard Relay now. Does that remind you of people blindly following a certain United States presidential candidate this year? here? Yeah, it does me too. And then we see J. Jonah Jameson blindly supporting Richard Hurley. Does that remind you of supporters blindly supporting a certain political candidate from this year? Yeah, it does for me also. So anyway, we see Richard Hurley acting like a total creep. Reminds me of a certain political candidate this year. Basically, the plot from here is pretty straightforward. So George Stacy decides that he doesn't like Richard Hurley, you know, because he's smart. So Richard Hurley goes and is revealed to be behind the Smasher. So the Smasher is sent to attack George Stacy. Fun fact, since George Stacy had already been killed off in the newer version of this, they changed it to Robbie Robertson. That's kind of interesting. So anyway, the Smasher attacks George Stacy, and George Stacy doesn't have a chance, so luckily Spider-Man comes in. There's a generic, if not gigantic, fight, which is a lot of fun. And of course, eventually Spider-Man inevitably triumphs, but in the process, Relay is sadly killed. Yeah, and Jameson is still convinced that Relay was a really good guy. Reminds me of how some people view a certain political candidate that ran for president this year. So yeah, this comic is a lot of fun. It's not the best of Stan Lee and John Romita, but it is certainly not the worst. It's just a lot of fun, and something that you'll probably have a really fun time reading. So that's my review of Spectacular Spider-Man Magazine #1. I'm not going to review the Origin of Spider-Man backup feature because that's basically just the same story as Amazing Fantasy 15, so if I ever want to review Spider-Man's origin, I'll just review Amazing Fantasy 15. So, thanks for watching, and let me know if you want to see a review of Spectacular Spider-Man Magazine #2. Oh, and thanks to Team Compton. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, but thanks to him for suggesting this. If you were wondering what the comment I showed at the beginning was, that was Team Compton suggesting that to me, so thanks to him, because I had a lot of fun with this. And without further ado, goodbye.